extended break. No game since Wednesday. We'll play on Tuesday. Didn't have a game over the weekend. Everybody feeling good?
Yeah, everybody's good. Everybody's healthy, and we've had some good practices, some spirited practices, and tried to get a little bit better. And obviously, in preparation for St. Louis and then beyond.
I read that you played against Josh Hurst a couple times where you were in Division II. What's your relationship with him like?
Very good. We were only in the league together that one season, but great coach. Really. Had a great team, had great teams, at Lincoln Memorial, and then did a great job, obviously, at Indiana State. And I know our conference is lucky to have him, coaching, at St. Louis now. And they're off to a great start. And, really good, well-balanced coach, in terms of offense and defense. Just good schemes. They play a really skilled game. They can shoot. They're very efficient, and but overall, he's a really good person.
They dealt with some injuries early on. Does it look to you like they're playing their best basketball of the season to this point right now?
Yeah, I mean, they look good, on film for sure. And I said this, to the team. They remind me a little bit of our team last year. They got healthy a little bit before conference. And, ours kind of began right at the beginning of conference where we started to get everybody back. And, they're all fitting in nicely to their roles right now. Clearly they have 3 scorers, right, and 3 playmakers. But the others, that are around them, are dynamite in their roles. They do a really good job of utilizing those guys. To create opportunities, for their offense, and so I'm impressed, with their team.
How do you go about slowing down a player like Robbie Avila?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play at his pace, right? We've played against some guys, like him, this year that where the team has kind of, played through their center a little bit. We've had several games, where that's been the case, and that doesn't mean necessarily on the block. It's in different spots, around the court. He provides a lot of different challenges, though. He can bang threes. He can really get guys execution layups. He's hard to speed up. He moves around the court. He's not a jet. By any stretch, right? He knows what he needs to do to be successful in basketball, and he's an elite passer. There's small windows to get the ball to a certain spot to one of his teammates, and he finds that window. Whereas a lot of basketball players have a hard time doing that. The great ones can find it, and he's certainly elite. At that.
I think Jimerson is their all-time leading scorer.
Yep.
He's had quite a career there. Lots of local interest in him every time he comes back to Richmond.
Yeah.
I imagine imperative to limit his clean looks on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, what a shooter he is, and overall player. You have to be in tremendous shape first and foremost to play the way that he plays, and so clearly, his physical fitness, is at the highest level because he's constantly moving out there. They do a really good job of getting him the ball, at times where he can, he's just free, to be able to get a great look. They use him in screening situations and coming off screens, and certainly in transition. And so, he's good going to the basket as well. Like he finds layups. And they find layups for him, so it's not all threes. You have to guard, him in both situations, and their team in both situations. And he's off to a great start again, this year, certainly in conference.
I know it's imperative to always communicate on defense for you guys, but how important is it against a team that's skilled as St. Louis?
Yeah, I mean, it always is. That's one of the constants that has to be there. Getting our defense set, communicating, being physical without fouling, those are 3 of the constants that we're talking about. that, get us to hopefully a stop, at the end of the possession, and finishing, certainly with a rebound. But, communication is always key.
What are the conversations like with a guy like Christian Ferman, who came into the season with high hopes, kind of struggled a bit early, has had a few flashes, but ultimately got replaced in the starting lineup and still has a role to contribute on this team?
Yeah, I think he understands, what he can do to impact the team in a positive way. And, he's beginning to do that, more regularly, more consistently. And I think that's the whole thing with Ferm. He's working harder outside of practice, which is important. You have to, continually, work on your game throughout the season, to get better, to get more confident in the things that you're going to do within the game. Whether it's free throws, whether it's finishes around the basket, post-ups, catches, all the things that really matter for big guys. And so I thought he had a great game at Loyola Chicago, and then this last game, wasn't certainly one that he was his best, but he certainly was proud and happy for the win. Ferm's a team guy, and so for us to be at our best, we need him playing well, and he knows that, and is working hard to get himself mentally and physically there and ready.
Do you have to reel Phil's emotions in any more than you otherwise would for this matchup that I imagine means a little extra to him?
Yeah, I mean, less is more. It's certainly the next game, on the schedule, and certainly there's always, when you're playing a school, where you're from, and where you were, for a bit, it can be difficult. It can be emotional, at times, but we don't need to make more of it than it is. He's playing for VCU. He's found a home here. It doesn't mean that St. Louis isn't still his home, right? He's proud of that place and his family and friendships that he's forged, over the course of his life. And, I think he's thankful for the experiences that he's had, in college basketball that have led him to this point. And, I think, for us, we want to win every game, that we play, and I think that's Phil's mentality. And so from that perspective, the emotional aspect, will go away pretty quickly once the ball's tipped up.
What have you liked about Luke in the starting lineup?
Yeah, I mean, I think it gets him going in the game, and certainly he's an important player, for us. And, he rim protects, at a high level. He's quick off his feet. He's athletic, in and around the basket and getting better at catching and finishing some plays there. He's showing some signs of improvement, from a passing and skill perspective away from the basket. And so I think it's, the guys are getting more confident, in him. And, I think he's overall doing a nice job.
How is Martin's development going behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's going really well. I mean, he's on the scout team, every game. So he's Jimerson right now, running around shooting threes and trying to get to the basket. And, it's been good for him. I mean, I think, the biggest thing for Martin is it allows him, because he's not playing in the games, to focus, on himself. It doesn't mean he's distanced from, what's going on with the team. He's not. I mean, he's in it, with the guys, and knows the scouting report, knows what's going on, and is learning all how we do things. But it's allowed him to be in off-season mode with Roos, and his body is taking off. I mean, it's pretty easy to see. He's gained really good weight so far, and really working on his skills, and the defensive side of the ball as well is a focus. Where he's playing one-on-one and doing some things that, will help him, for next season. But good spirits, and he's taking advantage, of the redshirt year, which is really important. And the coaches, GAs, everybody's doing a good job. Roos, Jay Wall, of helping him get the most, out of this time.
How has he performed in that role on scout with
How does he do? Yeah, he does really well. Yeah, he does really well. And, he obviously can shoot, but, he does other things. Like he's got really good size. He's tall, but he's athletic, and can maneuver to the basket because he's got the ball handling. And so, he's a good overall player and going to be a great player, I think. He continues to work, the way that he does. He's a worker and loves the game. And I think as his body continues to catch up, he'll be a hard guy to guard.
I'm sorry, I meant specifically about the role being Gibson on the scout team.
How's he doing with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's an easy one, right? You get to shoot and run off screens, and everybody's trying to get you a shot. I mean, that's fun, So he's enjoyed that, It's better than, the other way around. You don't touch the ball,
What do you tell the guys, if anything, about managing the contrast in atmosphere? So obviously it was just one game without fans,
Yeah.
but they're 3-0 in day 10, but it's going to be loud tomorrow night. Is there any kind of shock value just between those two games? And
No, I think we'll just be excited to have our fans back, I mean, it's not, I guess we're the only 4 teams that this happened to this year, which is, it's very odd. I think you've got the football situation happening, tonight, right, where they had to move one of the games because of the fires, but they're still going to have fans, So that was weird, for everyone, but it makes you appreciate what you have, right? And I think that's the perspective that we're choosing to take, and we'll just be excited that it's sold out and we're ready to roll.